The crown disappeared on the night of the winter feast. Alpha King Matthias Ironheart had placed it on the ceremonial pillar in the great hall, as tradition demanded, while he danced with the noble ladies and drank wine with his council. When he returned to claim it for the midnight coronation renewal, it was gone. The kingdom erupted in chaos. Guards searched every room. Every guest was questioned. Every servant was detained. The castle gates were sealed. No one could leave. No one could escape. Theft of the royal crown was high treason. Death by beheading. No trial, no mercy, no exceptions. And King Matthias, known throughout the realm as the Iron Wolf for his unyielding justice, would personally execute the thief who'd dared touch what was his. He'd already beaten 3 men bloody trying to extract a confession. Blood dripped from his knuckles as he stalked through the castle corridors, his fury a palpable thing that made servants press themselves against walls to let him pass. "Find it," he growled at Captain Aldrich. "Tear this castle apart if you must, but find my crown, and find the thief, before dawn." "Yes, Your Majesty." The search continued through the night. The castle library, the weapon rooms, the storage cellars, the kitchen larders. Nothing. As dawn approached, a young guard appeared. His face was pale, uncertain. "Your Majesty, we've found something. In the old tower. The abandoned one." "The crown?" "Yes, sire, but—" The guard swallowed hard. "You should come see for yourself." Matthias followed him up the winding tower stairs. Each step made his rage burn hotter. The thief was trapped. Cornered. It's about to face justice. The guard pushed open the door to the highest chamber, and Matthias's world stopped. Chapter 1. The Discovery. The room was circular. Bare stone walls, a single window letting in the gray light of dawn. Cold, dusty, abandoned for years. And in the center, curled on the floor like a child, was an Omega. Female, maybe 40 years old, wearing servant's clothes that had seen better days, dark hair streaked with silver, face lined with years of hard work and harder life. She was asleep, deeply asleep. Exhausted sleep that came from pushing body and soul past their limits. And cradled in her arms like a treasured doll, his crown. The ancient gold gleamed against her worn dress. The sacred jewels caught the dawn light. She held it gently, protectively, like it was something precious that needed guarding. Matthias stood frozen. This was the thief? This exhausted, middle-aged Omega sleeping on cold stone? This was the villain who'd thrown his kingdom into chaos? "Shall we wake her, Your Majesty?" Captain Aldrich asked quietly. "For questioning?" Matthias didn't answer. Couldn't answer, because he'd just scented her. Lavender and wood smoke, worn linen and honest sweat. The scent of someone who worked hard, lived simply, expected nothing. And underneath it all, something that made his wolf howl. Mate. No, that was impossible. He was 45 years old. He'd ruled for 20 years without finding a mate. His first wife, a political marriage, had died in childbirth 15 years ago. He'd accepted that mates were fairy tales, that he'd rule alone, die alone. But his wolf didn't lie. And right now it was screaming that this sleeping Omega, this alleged thief, was his. "Your Majesty?" Aldrich prompted. "Everyone out." Matthias's voice was rough. "Sire?" "Out. Now, seal the door. Let no one enter until I call for you." The guards exchanged glances but obeyed. When they were alone, Matthias approached slowly. The Omega didn't stir. She was deeply asleep, truly exhausted. Dark circles under her eyes, calloused hands. The kind of bone-deep weariness that spoke of years without rest. He knelt beside her, studied her face. She wasn't beautiful in the way court ladies were beautiful. No carefully arranged hair, no expensive cosmetics, no fashionable gowns. But there was something in her sleeping face, something peaceful, something that made his chest tight. He reached out carefully, touched her shoulder. "Wake up." She stirred, made a small sound, clutched the crown tighter. "Please," she mumbled, still half asleep. "Just let me sleep, just a little longer. I'm so tired." "Wake up," he repeated. Firmer. Her eyes opened. Hazel. Warm. Confused. Then they focused on him. On his face. On his royal clothes. On the fury that must have been written across his features. She gasped. Sat up. Looked down at the crown in her arms. And her face went white with terror. "Your Majesty, I can explain. I wasn't stealing it. I was protecting it." "Protecting it?" His voice was dangerously quiet. "You stole the crown from the Great Hall during the winter feast. You hid it in an abandoned tower. You held it while the entire kingdom searched. And you claim you were protecting it?" "Yes." She held the crown out to him, desperate. "Please, I know how this looks, but I swear on my life, I wasn't stealing. I was stopping someone else from stealing it." Matthias took the crown. The gold was warm from her body heat, still carried her scent. "Explain. Now. And it had better be convincing." Chapter 2. The Truth. She scrambled to her feet, swaying slightly, still exhausted. "My name is Elena Ashwood. I work in the kitchens, have for 15 years. The words tumbled out, rushed, terrified, desperate to make him understand before he ordered her execution. "I came here after my husband died. He was a guard, killed protecting the northern border from rogues. They gave me this job, said it was charity, payment for his service." She swallowed hard. "Last night during the feast, I was bringing more wine to the Great Hall. The master cook sent me because the regular servers were all busy. I'm usually in the back, washing dishes, scrubbing pots. I don't belong in the Great Hall, but they needed someone, and I was there, and—" "Focus," Matthias said, not unkindly. "What did you see?" "I saw Lord Blackthorn near the ceremonial pillar, near your crown." Her hands twisted together. "He was looking around, making sure no one was watching, and I thought maybe he was just admiring it. The crown is beautiful. Everyone looks at it during the feast. It's tradition. But then he reached for it. Not the way someone admires something, the way someone takes something." Her voice dropped. "I've seen that look before, Your Majesty. I grew up poor, in the lower city. I know what it looks like when someone's about to steal. And Lord Blackthorn, he had that look." She met his eyes, desperate for him to believe her. He picked it up, started to wrap it in a cloth he'd hidden in his sleeve, like he was going to hide it, walk away with it. And no one was watching. Everyone was dancing, drinking, celebrating. No one was paying attention to the crown, because why would they? Who would dare steal from the king? "So you stopped him." "I tried," her voice broke. I couldn't let him take it. But I'm an Omega, a kitchen servant, a widow who scrubs pots for her bread. I have no authority, no power, no voice that anyone would listen to." Tears filled her eyes. "If I'd accused Lord Blackthorn of theft right there in the Great Hall, if I'd shouted, pointed, and tried to stop him publicly, who would believe me? He's the master of coin, a lord who served your father and you for 30 years. And I'm nobody, less than nobody, a servant who shouldn't even have been in the Great Hall. Then what did you do?" She stopped, took a shaky breath. "I grabbed the crown before he could hide it, just walked up behind him and snatched it from his hands and ran. I didn't think, didn't plan, just acted on instinct. And Lord Blackthorn? He was shocked, furious. But he couldn't chase me openly, couldn't shout, 'Stop that woman with my stolen crown,' without admitting he'd been trying to take it. So he just stood there, and I ran. Through the Great Hall, through the corridors, Up the stairs. To here. She gestured around the dusty tower room. I used to come here sometimes, years ago. Yet when the loneliness got too much, when I needed somewhere quiet to cry without anyone seeing. It's abandoned. No one comes here. I thought I could hide the crown here. Keep it safe. Figure out how to return it without being accused of stealing it myself. Why not come to me directly? Why not report what you'd seen? Because who would believe me? Her voice was anguished. Lord Blackthorn would say I was lying, that I was the thief, that I was trying to blame him to save myself, and the court would believe him. Why wouldn't they? He's a lord. I'm an Omega kitchen servant. His word against mine? I'd be executed before I finished explaining. She wrapped her arms around herself. So I hid, with the crown, trying to think, trying to plan, trying to figure out some way to prove what I'd seen without getting myself killed. Her voice dropped to a whisper, and I fell asleep. I didn't mean to, but I was so tired. I work 18-hour days in the kitchens, triple shifts during feasts, and last night I worked all evening. And then all this, running, hiding, fear. I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. She looked at him with hazel eyes, full of desperate honesty. I know how this looks. I know I'm holding your crown without permission. I know that's treason. I know I should have found a better way, a smarter way. But I'm not smart, Your Majesty. I'm just a woman who scrubs pots and tries to do right. And when I saw someone trying to steal from you, trying to dishonor you, I couldn't let it happen, even if it meant risking my own life. Matthias studied her, really studied her. Calloused hands, worn clothes. The kind of weariness that came from years of hard labor and little rest. Hazel eyes that held nothing but desperate honesty. And underneath it all, that scent. His mate. His mate. Lord Blackthorn tried to steal my crown, he said slowly, and you stopped him. Risked your own life to protect it. Protected my honor, my sovereignty, my throne. I didn't think about it that way, she said quietly. I just knew it was wrong. Knew he shouldn't be allowed to take it. Knew, she stopped. I knew it was important to you. The crown, the symbol, the tradition. And I couldn't let him defile that. Even though it meant you'd be accused? Even though it meant you might hang for treason? Yes. Simple. Absolute. Better me than letting a traitor succeed. Matthias felt something shift in his chest. Something that had been frozen for 15 years starting to thaw. This woman, this exhausted middle-aged Omega, had risked everything to protect him. To protect his crown. To stop a traitor. And she expected nothing in return. Expected to hang for her courage. Elena Ashwood, he said carefully. Do you know what the punishment is for touching the royal crown without permission? Her face went pale. Death, Your Majesty. And do you know what the punishment is for falsely accusing a lord? Also death. So either way, whether your story is true or false, you die. Tears filled her eyes, but didn't fall. Yes, Your Majesty, I understand. Good. He stood, offered her his hand. Then let's go prove your story true. So you can live. Chapter 3. The Confrontation. Matthias led Elena down from the tower. Guards stared as they passed, the king with blood still on his knuckles, the disheveled Omega servant at his side. Captain Aldrich, summon Lord Blackthorn to the throne room. Immediately. Full court in attendance. Yes, Your Majesty. Within the hour, the throne room was packed. Lords and ladies, guards and servants, everyone who'd been at the winter feast. And Lord Blackthorn. Standing before the throne with a carefully composed expression of concern. Your Majesty, thank the moon you've recovered the crown, and captured the thief. He looked at Elena with perfectly performed disdain. A kitchen Omega. How predictable. They can never resist stealing what doesn't belong to them. Is that so? Matthias's voice was cold. "It's dangerous. Tell me, Lord Blackthorn, where were you last night when the crown disappeared?" "In the great hall, your majesty, with everyone else, enjoying the feast." "And you saw nothing? Heard nothing? Noticed nothing suspicious?" "Nothing, sire. The crown simply vanished, as if by magic." "Interesting." Matthias descended from the throne, circled Lord Blackthorn slowly. "Because this Omega, this lowly kitchen servant, tells a different story. She says she saw you near the crown, saw you reaching for it, saw you trying to steal it." Lord Blackthorn's face flushed red. "That's absurd! A lie! Your Majesty, surely you don't believe the word of a common Omega over a lord of the realm." "I believe evidence." Matthias gestured to the guards. "Search Lord Blackthorn's chambers. Every inch. Us look for anything that might connect him to the theft. Letters, gold, plans. Your Majesty, this is outrageous. I am master of coin. I have served your father and you faithfully for 30 years. You cannot. I am the Alpha King. I can do whatever I want." His voice was steel. "And right now, I want answers. Guards, search his rooms. Now." They left. The throne room fell silent, tense, waiting. Elena stood beside the throne, trembling. She looked like she might faint. Matthias caught her arm, steadied her. "You're safe," he murmured, too quiet for others to hear. "I won't let anything happen to you." "Thank you, Your Majesty." The guards returned 20 minutes later. Captain Aldrich carried a bundle of letters. "Your Majesty, we found these, hidden in a locked chest under Lord Blackthorn's bed." Matthias took them. You read. His face went cold. "Correspondence with Lord Kragan of the Southern Territories, plotting to undermine my rule, to steal the crown and claim I'd lost it through carelessness, to use that as grounds to question my fitness to rule." He looked at Lord Blackthorn. "You were going to start a civil war over a stolen crown." Lord Blackthorn's face had gone gray. "Your Majesty, I can explain." "Explain how you planned to betray me? How you planned to throw this kingdom into chaos? How you were willing to let an innocent Omega hang for your treason?" Silence. "Guards, take Lord Blackthorn to the dungeons. He'll stand trial for high treason, conspiracy against the crown, and attempted theft of royal regalia." As they dragged the protesting lord away, Matthias turned to Elena. She was swaying on her feet, exhaustion and relief warring on her face. "You were right," he said quietly. "About everything. You saved my crown, my honor, possibly my entire kingdom, and you expected to hang for it. I just did what was right, Your Majesty." "No," he stepped closer. "You did what was brave, what was noble, what most of my court wouldn't have the courage to do." He turned to face the assembled nobles. "Let this be a lesson to every lord and lady present." His voice carried through the throne room, cold, absolute. Courage does not reside solely in noble blood. Honor is not the exclusive province of high birth. Loyalty cannot be bought with titles or measured in acres of land. He turned slowly, making sure every person in the room met his eyes. "What, this Omega, this woman who scrubs pots in my kitchens, proved herself more loyal than a lord who'd served 30 years. More honest than nobles who claim superior breeding. More worthy of honor than most of you combined. She risked death to protect my crown, to stop a traitor, to preserve this kingdom's honor, while the rest of you danced and drank and noticed nothing." Silence. Thick, uncomfortable. He took Elena's hand, drew her forward. She was trembling, pale, looking like she might faint at any moment. "Elena Ashwood, you risked your life to protect my crown, to stop a traitor, to preserve the kingdom's honor when those sworn to do so were too busy celebrating to notice a conspiracy unfolding before their eyes. How can I possibly repay such a debt?" "You don't have to repay anything, Your Majesty." Her voice was small, overwhelmed. I was just doing what was right. Anyone would have... No. He cut her off gently. Not anyone. Most people would have looked away, would have told themselves it wasn't their business, would have chosen safety over courage. But you chose differently. You chose right over easy. You chose honor over survival. He stepped closer, let his voice drop so only she could hear the next words. What if I told you that you're my mate, my fated pair? That the moment I scented you in that tower, the moment I saw you sleeping with my crown cradled in your arms like something precious, my wolf recognized you as mine? Her eyes went wide. That's not possible. I'm 40 years old. I'm nobody. I'm a kitchen servant with calloused hands and gray hair and a face that's seen too many years, and you're mine. His voice was absolute, certain. My mate, my equal, my queen, if you'll have me. If you'll take a king who's too old, too scarred, too set in his ways, who comes with a crown and a kingdom and more problems than anyone should have to deal with. She stared at him, tears starting to fall. Why me? You could have anyone. Young, beautiful, proper. Someone who knows how to be a queen. Someone who... I don't want someone who knows how to be a queen. He cupped her face gently. I want someone who knows what's right, who has the courage to act on it, who sees a wrong and fixes it regardless of the personal cost. He pressed his forehead to hers. I've been alone for 15 years, Elena. Since Catherine died, I thought, I accepted, that I'd never find a mate. That mates were stories, fairy tales. That real life was duty and loneliness, and ruling alone until death. But then I found you sleeping on cold stone, holding my crown like it was something precious, protecting it even in your sleep. And my wolf knew, instantly, undeniably, you're what I've been searching for, what I've needed, what the moon herself has decreed is mine. He pulled back slightly, met her eyes. I know this is sudden. I know it's overwhelming. I know you probably think I'm mad. But I'm 45 years old, Elena. I don't have time to waste on courtship and hesitation and pretending I don't feel what I feel. I want you, as my mate, as my Luna, as my partner in ruling this kingdom. The court would never accept it. Her voice was shaking. An Omega kitchen servant as queen? They'd revolt. Then let them revolt. He said it loud enough for the room to hear. Turned to face the assembled nobles. Elena Ashwood saved my crown. Stopped a conspiracy. Proved her worth 1,000 times over. She's my mate. My chosen Luna. My queen. He raised his voice further. Anyone who objects can leave. Now. Find employment elsewhere. Pledge fealty to another kingdom. I don't care, because I am the Alpha King, and I'm claiming my mate. Here. Now. In front of all of you. His eyes swept the crowd, daring them, challenging them. No one moved. No one dared. Then it settled. He turned back to Elena, spoke softly again. What do you say? Will you take a king who's offering you a crown and a kingdom, but also honest love? Who sees you, really sees you, and wants you anyway? Who doesn't care that you're 40 or common-born or rough-handed, because those things make you who you are, and who you are is perfect? She was crying now, openly. I'm not perfect. I'm worn. I'm old. You're brave. You're honest. You're mine. He smiled. And I'm yours, if you'll have me. This is insane, she whispered. Completely insane. Yes, he grinned. The best things usually are. So what's your answer, Elena Ashwood? Will you be my Luna? My queen? My mate? She looked at him. Really looked at him. This Alpha King who was offering her everything. Who was looking at her like she was precious. Like she mattered. Like she was exactly what he'd been waiting for. Yes. The word came out broken. Joyful. Terrified. Yes. I'll be your mate. Your Luna. Your... She laughed through her tears. "You're completely unprepared, utterly unqualified, absolutely bewildered queen." He pulled her into his arms and kissed her, right there, in front of the entire court, in front of nobles and guards and servants who'd never seen their Iron Wolf show affection to anyone. When they broke apart, the throne room erupted, some in cheers, some in shock, some in whispers and gasps and confusion. But Matthias didn't care. He just held his mate, his Elena, and felt the frozen places in his heart starting to thaw. "Thank you," he whispered into her hair. "For what?" "For being brave, for saving my crown, for being exactly who you are, for giving me a second chance at happiness when I'd accepted I'd never have it." He pulled back to look at her. "For proving that sometimes the best things come later in life. When you're old enough to appreciate them, wise enough to value them, grateful enough to cherish them." She touched his face. "I love you. I don't know how that's possible after one day, but I do. I feel it. The bond, the certainty, the rightness. I love you too." He said it like a vow. "My brave queen, my unexpected mate, my Elena." Epilogue. 1 year later. The winter feast was in full swing. Queen Elena, still strange to think of herself that way, stood beside King Matthias in the great hall, wearing silk and jewels that still felt foreign, but also wearing something that felt completely right. His hand in hers, his scent surrounding her, his love warming her from the inside out. The crown sat on the ceremonial pillar, as tradition demanded. But this year, 2 guards stood watch over it, and never leaving their posts, never taking their eyes off it. Some traditions needed updating. "Do you ever regret it?" Matthias murmured. "Leaving the kitchens, becoming queen, all the responsibility and scrutiny and politics?" "Every day," she said. He looked hurt. She smiled. "I regret that I didn't get to spend more years with you, that we only found each other at 40, that we wasted so much time apart." She squeezed his hand. "But I don't regret saving your crown. I don't regret speaking truth. I don't regret being brave, because it led me here, to you, to this life, to a love I never thought I'd have." He pulled her close, kissed her forehead. "I love you, my brave queen, my kitchen servant turned Luna, my unexpected mate. I love you too, my Iron Wolf, my king who learned to trust an Omega's word over a lord's lies." They danced, surrounded by nobles who'd learned to respect the queen who'd once served them meals, who'd learned that worth wasn't measured in bloodlines or titles, but in courage and honor and the willingness to risk everything for what was right. Later that night, as they prepared for bed, Elena caught sight of her reflection in the mirror. Gray hair, lines around her eyes, calloused hands that even a year of royal life couldn't completely smooth. She'd never be the young, beautiful queen from fairy tales. But Matthias came up behind her, wrapped his arms around her, met her eyes in the mirror. "Perfect," he said. "Exactly perfect. I'm old. I'm worn. You're brave. You're honest. You're mine." He turned her to face him. "And you saved my crown. My kingdom. My heart. Age doesn't change that. Gray hair doesn't diminish that. Nothing will ever change the fact that you're the most remarkable woman I've ever known." She kissed him. "You're not so bad yourself, for an old wolf." He laughed. "We're a pair, aren't we? 2 middle-aged fools who found each other at exactly the right time." "Not fools." She touched his face. "Lucky, blessed, fortunate beyond measure." "Yes," he pulled her close. "All of that." They stood together in their chambers, king and queen, mates and partners, 2 people who'd found each other later in life and loved each other all the more fiercely for it. The stolen crown sat in its place downstairs, guarded, protected, safe, but the real treasure was here, in this room, in these arms, in this love that had been forged in chaos, and proven in crisis. Elena had saved a crown, and in doing so, had found a king, had found herself, had found home.